way different style of video today. Oh, that was on camera.
Gross.
Okay. Hey.
Hi.
Hey. Hey.
Coming to you live from
Internet.
Route 35.
We're in a car. I'm in a car full of people. We just saw Rings.
It was beautiful. Wow.
It was good. It was pretty good.
It was pretty decent. I wasn't expecting to hate it. And
It was beautiful.
Children, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
I was very pleasantly
I
surprised.
just had one question. Where did all the fucking children go in front of us? Like,
Fuck those children.
Where are they going?
Oh my god.
Where-
They probably went to the lobby to like kiss or something.
So I'm gonna be honest. I fully expected to be here shitting all over this movie, and yet...
You're not real.
So Rings is directed by F. Javier Gutierrez, and it stars Matilda Lutz and Alex Rowe, and it tells a story you might have heard before. A girl watches a cursed video and finds herself being pursued by Samara Morgan, who is going to kill her in 7 days. As I said, I fully expected to be completely just destroying this movie right now, and yet I'm not. This movie wasn't terrible, despite what all the trailers and the promotional scene that they posted online led many people to believe. I didn't hate this film. I see a lot of people just like tearing it apart online, and I don't really get it. I feel like it's sort of a bandwagon thing. I feel like everyone's just kind of circle jerking about the fact that, oh, it's terrible. Oh. I wouldn't say it's a good film. It doesn't particularly need to exist, but the best word I can use to describe it is decent. It's nowhere near as terrible as I expected it to be, and it's nowhere near as terrible as The Ring 2. So, I mean, that's a plus. Before I get into this, I should just really want to say this movie was horribly mismarketed. The trailers do not even remotely paint a picture of what this film is. Because all the advertising really made this out to be, you know, oh, well, Samara goes viral, and oh, it's being posted on the internet now. And that's not even part of the plot. Like, that's not even remotely any part of the film. Technology really doesn't, like, the technology of today doesn't really even play into it, aside from the fact that somebody converts the original tape into a .mov file, and that's it. So if you're going into this expecting, you know, having 2017 technology shoved down your throat, you're not going to get that. So, I mean, that's already a good thing. This movie has a lot of positives and negatives. The good and bad sort of counterbalance each other perfectly, but like I said, it was surprisingly better than I expected. So I'm just going to kind of dive right in and talk about it.
It wasn't as bad as I thought.
I liked it. I enjoyed it, not gonna lie.
Pleasant surprise. Pleasant surprise. Aside from the kids that were sitting in front of us, it was good. I don't know what else to say.
I told all of you bitches it was gonna be beautiful.
Well, you're
None
a
of you
huge,
listened.
you're a huge Ring
The
fan.
Ring,
I love
the
first
original
one.
Ring is the reason why I got into horror movies. My
I love
goth
the-
friend was like, you need to see this shit.
Well,
So
I
I
love
saw
the
it, and
first
now I
one.
love it.
Love the first one, hate the fucking second one. This was so much better than the second one.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Tremendous. I
was alright.
watched this like
Hey!
Of all of the American Ring films, Samara has never looked better than she does in this one. This is the first time in any of the three that I really felt like she was a worthy adaptation of Sadako from the original Ring film. Because my biggest problem with her appearance in Verbinski's was that they showed too much of her face, and then she looked awful in The Ring too. And this is the first time when she's just all matted hair, and occasionally you'll see her eye, and that's it. And I love that. I think that's really cool, and it for the first time I was like, oh, they finally did it right. The visuals in this film were surprisingly not bad. There are some really nice visual elements to it. The shot of the dude from The Big Bang Theory looking out the window with the rain falling up, that's awesome. I love that. And then it's just a subtle image in the background of Samara walking toward him in the reflection of the window. That's great. I love that. I love the imagery of Samara being formed out of the swarm of cicadas. That looks incredible. That's one of my favorite scenes in the film. They really understood the atmosphere and the color palette of Verbinski's film, because the murky color scheme is back again, and that there's a lot of grays and greens and blues and really dull muted colors. And they did again kind of manage to capture that same air of sadness as the first film, and I'm really glad that they understood that this time around, because that's really what made The Ring 2 fail. What really surprised me is that it, again, like Verbinski's film, it managed to tell a compelling mystery in that, like, yes, we know some of the story already, but there's new details being uncovered and there's new aspects that we've never heard of. And there's a new tape, and I'm not going to say too much about it, but that was awesome, and I love that they managed to keep the story the same and not really change anything about the first film, but they still managed to add some new stuff to it and stuff that looks really cool on top of that. Also, perhaps my favorite thing about this movie, it completely retcons The Ring 2. You don't need to see that movie now. You don't need to watch it. It doesn't exist. Fuck yes. Thank you. Now for the bad, I mean, there is some bad. The acting, for the most part, aside from Vincent D'Onofrio, who is excellent.
Kingpin was in this movie.
That was
Fucking Vincent
terrifying.
D'Onofrio.
He looked so peaceful and nice.
He was blind.
And then went full Kingpin.
He went full Kingpin.
The acting is all pretty not good. It ranges from like mediocre to bad. The worst thing about this film is the opening scene. Oh my god. It's like it's from a different film. It's like something that was pulled out of Final Destination. It's horrendously acted, horrendously directed. It's just awful by every single definition of the word. The plane scene is this movie's equivalent of the horse scene or the deer scene. The plane scene is horrendous. It has no place in this film. You could take it out of the film and the movie would be no different, so I don't know why it's there in the first place. And then on top of that, it has probably one of the funniest moments in history for me, or in this franchise's history for me, in that, so Samara comes for this guy on the plane and she crawls out of the tiny screens on the cockpit. So is Samara just really tiny? Is that what's happening? Is she just like coming after this guy but she's like 2 feet tall? Because that's hilarious. The biggest issue with this movie, I think, is just that it doesn't need to exist. I'm not saying I didn't dislike this film, but it has no reason to exist. It's because a lot of this is, again, the same mystery that we uncovered in the first film, so a lot of us know this story right. Yes, there's more to it, but it's the same idea where it just feels, it's really essentially more of just a soft reboot than it is a sequel to The Ring. It functions as both, but it covers a lot of familiar ground that it's not really necessary. It covers enough familiar ground that it doesn't really feel all that necessary to exist in the first place. Overall, like I said, I didn't hate this movie. I think that it doesn't really need to exist, but it has some cool things to offer, mainly in the visuals and in the premise, because the premise is very interesting. And ultimately, I'm going to say that Rings is probably a good film for fans of Verbinski's The Ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say it's worth the watch.
I'd say it's worth a watch, I think.
Yeah, I'd say the same. Must see, especially if you liked the original one like I did.
I would call it probably good for fans of the Ring. Like if you like the first one, I'd say it's
That's what I was thinking. With like combined with like solid.
Okay.
Must see, not really.
You just love overlapping fucking ratings, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Thomas?
What are the ratings again?
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
Solid.
Really? You guys are all giving it way higher ratings than I did.
I would say good for fans.
Wait, what did you give it?
I said it was good for fans of like The Ring, of the first one.
See, but the thing is, I loved the original, so to me, I'm gonna rate this super high.
Okay, that's true.
I honestly
fair.
thought Solid was underneath.
I think this just proves that we're
I
correct.
thought Solid was
Yes.
always underneath.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Even though for a fan like that's not a fan of the Ring series, just a fan of like spooky movies
And The Big Bang Theory.
And
if you like The Big Bang Theory, you're gonna like this movie.
For
Sure.
fans of The Ring and
If you really hate The Big Bang Theory, you're really gonna like this movie.
Like
Like
me.
me.
Like me.
I'm still not over it.
Was it
I'm
good?
still not over it. I will never be over it.
If only it was Sheldon that happened to him.
that would have been gold.
That would have been beautiful. Oh my god.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Release tomorrow.
Anyway, hey, like, comment, subscribe. Whatever.
Yay!
Yay!